Hello everyone, welcome to Rayu, and today it's gonna be our halftime break discussion again. So I know today's topic is gonna be a little bit sensitive, as you guys may have seen in the title. If you guys don't know, I live in Malaysia, and in Malaysia, most of the Malaysian Chinese always have the giving people of the outside world the impression of the kiasu attitude. I believe Malaysian and even the Singaporean will have known what this actually means. So whether you live locally in Malaysia or for any other reason living outside of Malaysia, when other people meeting Malaysian Chinese, seeing a lot of friends from other countries will be asking is the Malaysian like, hey yo, why do you take things so seriously? Or why do you work so hard every time? Take a chill pill and please laid back a little bit, Vice versa, we do see the opposite kind of a character from people outside of Malaysia, especially if you go to, for instance, the US. A lot of people there are pretty chill, to be honest. So there's nothing good or bad about it. It's just character differences, and it doesn't mean like if you are more kiasu, doesn't mean that you will excel in life better. But of course, that's the idea that our parents wanted us to believe in. So which is why Malaysian Chinese mentality towards the societal norm are due to mostly the way we were brought up. And most of the Chinese parents wanted us to believe that you gotta be a little bit more kiasu in order to excel in life, especially if you were to live in Malaysia, right? So here comes the sensitive part. It's that primarily in Malaysia, if you are a non-Bumi Putras, which is easiest way to explain it directly, translate is the princess of soil, you don't get a certain privilege. And I know a lot of Bumi Putra will be saying like, what do you mean by privileges? If we have all the privileges, 70% of the economy wouldn't be controlled by non-Bumi Putras. Well, I do agree, and please hear me out, that when it comes to this kind of sensitive issue like this, I'm going to be really truthful over here, and the issues here does not only happen in Malaysia, right? To make my point valid is that I would like to bring out the similar example as a comparison from a bigger and stronger nation, which is the US, in which we do hear like white privileges happens in US, in which the non-white people do felt like they were treated differently and they don't get a certain privilege as their fellow citizens which are white. The easiest way to actually explain this kind of situation is that we were once controlled by a divide and rule system before probably a couple years ago. Although none of our nations were as extreme as what happens in South Africa, which they call it apartheid. Apartheid is the kind of system where it's illegal to even interact with other people of different skin color. You can't even walk at the same side of street. It was illegal in South Africa, but it's not as serious or as extreme in Malaysia. Right? So bringing back to Malaysia, we can see that there are a few pretty obvious priority that most princes of soil enjoy until today that other Malaysians don't really get to enjoy. For instance, the first one is the civil servant employment priorities. Secondly is the Amanah Saham Bumi Putras, which you will get a consistent high interest rate, which used to range about 8%, 7 and 8%, although this year it goes all the way out down to 5%, but that is still very good interest rate, this unconditional interest rate for only the Bumi Putras are able to enjoy. The third one is a special rate discount on expensive properties. You get discounts on expensive properties if you are a Bumi Putra. You will be paying the market rate for a non-Bumis. The fourth one, when it comes to entrepreneur like myself, I personally have encountered that you don't get as much option in terms of SME or small medium enterprise loan options provided by the bank. And a lot of packages you will realize they were designed explicitly for Bumi Putras only. While on the other side, in US, many white people might be saying, well, white privileges doesn't really exist. You can't just activate white privileges and all of a sudden you became like rich and wealthy. It doesn't apply in that context. Well, I do agree, but let's talk about land, right? Many white people have lands because those non-whites, for instance, black people, were slaves many years ago, and obviously you won't be awarded lands, right? So the lands until today, you get to borrow them, get cash out, get cash flow. You can use the cash flow to run some businesses or to generate more wealth, whichever way you can. But taking that privilege away from non-white people in the US, and think about the type of a competitive advantage that you have created over there, right? So you know the difference. That aside, let's talk about bank loans, right? Many black people, statistically speaking in the US, don't easily get loans. Even if you get loans with a similar credit rating with the white people, your interest rate happens to be higher. That's the societal partiality that happens in that society, even in other countries. Well, it is definitely not something that we get to see on the surface when we're living our daily lives. But backtrack a little bit and talk about the privileges, right? It is like as if you will be given handicap in a sports game. Take basketball, for example. You, as the non-privileged ones, gets the 10-foot rim, while your opponent gets the 6-foot rim. well, you get a point, right? So back to the topic, why do most Malaysian Chinese, work harder than usual? Well, it is because, again, that's how our parents taught us about the impartial system in our country. But to be fair, we do agree like not all Chinese Malaysian behave the same way, right? Vice versa. The moral of the discussion today is that racial tension do happens all around the world. And it is definitely something that we need more people to acknowledge it rather than ignorance and ignore about it. That's the first thing. It should be a normalized topic, discussion, and continuous debate. On the bright side, we do see many younger Malaysian as a whole are seemingly getting more well educated over time. And obviously, with the help of the internet and social media these days, more people are getting exposed to different culture and mentality, and the younger generation are getting more acceptable to its different culture and diversity. Although we do not expect the privileges to be lifted anytime soon. I don't think that is anytime possible, but I do believe that during our time, as the younger generation, we will eventually be seeing more cultural understanding, tolerance, and acceptance from all the Malaysians. Well, that's the end of my discussion today, and thank you so much for watching. So if you like this kind of video content, do leave me a like and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the bell button, and I'm gonna peace out.